Got recording.
Okay guys, so the story here is this is the metric system and for conversions. Okay, here is base units, which would be here meters, okay, liters and grams. I want you to stop and pause the video for a few minutes, and I want you to copy this down into your notebook. If you already have this in your notebook, then I want you to fill in what the abbreviations would be for, say, what would a hectoliter be? If you want to know, it's just like this. Okay, you're always using the same prefix H, hectoliter. All right, if I want to come over here and make a milligram, I come way over here, milligram. These are the abbreviations that we're going to be using. So the first thing I want you to do is to make this happen. So you should be filling in all these blanks in your notebook so that your board is complete. Okay? You do that now, and I'll come back and explain the math behind this. Okay, stop. Alright, so if you're finished by now, you see that these are all the answers. And it's always the same across the board. Kilo, hecto, deca, then the base unit, then deci, then here centi, then here milli. Everybody should know by now, centi means 100. How many years in a century? 100. Milli. How many years in a millennium? 1,000. Okay, simple stuff. The most common units, I guess, for in our real life, we use kilometers, kilograms. Occasionally, you see decagrams in Europe when you're trying to buy like meat or produce or whatever. Obviously, these are very common. We don't really see decis too often. Deciliters, actually, sometimes we see this in the medical profession. And then obviously we use centimeters a lot, we use millimeters a lot, milliliters and milligrams, especially milligrams, you know, in all medicines. So those are all your common uses right there. I'm just gonna, while you guys are, you're standing there, I'm gonna just, while I'm erasing here, do this, see if you can do this problem. Okay? Here's a problem for you. 45.9 decigrams equals how many decagrams? Okay, that's what I want you to work on while I finish erasing. I don't know if you got it or not, so I'm just going to show you the math behind this. So obviously up here we have powers of 10s. 10 to the power of 0 is just the number 1. So anything to the power of 0 is always going to be the number 1. 10 to the minus 1 you saw was 0.01. No, 0.1. 10 to the minus 2 is 0.01. And this is 0.001. You had that written down before. And obviously 10 to the first is 10, 10 squared, or 10 to the second is 10 times 10, that's 100, and 10 times 10 times 10 is 1,000. Okay, hopefully for math class all that was review. Who knows with you people? I don't. Okay, so if you think about it for a minute, okay, here we have decigrams, and we're going to something bigger, a bigger unit. Which means since this is a small unit and that's a bigger unit, we're going to have to do a division problem. Okay, and if we're going in the opposite direction, from something big to small, we're going to have to multiply. So usually when we're here, okay, and we're moving in this direction, and we want to change units like this, then we're multiplying. And if we're going in this direction, we're going to divide. Okay? Child's play, really, honestly. Alright, so how do we do this? Well, for my purposes, guys, and for you, just use the skeleton. I'm going to show you how this should look in a second, but let's use the skeleton. So here we're at decigrams. So where do we find deci? We find it right here. Where's deca? It's right here. So we're actually going to move 2 spaces on this, right on the skeleton, I call it. So how do we do that? Well, we move our decimal point 2 spaces. So now our answer is actually this. 0.459. Now what would be the math behind that? Well, you were at 45.9 and you moved 2 spaces, so you had to divide. And your answer then becomes divided by 100 equals 0.459. Okay? Don't forget to put the units in there. Basically, that's it. So, I want you to show this step. If you don't show this step, then I'm not going to mark it correct on the activity that I got uploaded on the Moodle for you. So if you don't, you're going to have to show this step. Now let's do a different one, but this one I'll show you multiplication. So this is just as easy. So let's take 15.1 hectoliters, and we want to know how many liters that's equal to. Okay, well, 15 hectoliters is found right here, and it's a fair bit bigger than just a flat-out liter. So how do we solve that? Well, we know we're moving in the right direction, just here, so we multiply. All right, so now we know that right here we're going to have 15.1 times something. Times what? Times 1, 2 spaces, 10 to the power 2, that's 100. Our answer, 15, 1, 2 spaces, 1, 0 liters. Not hard. Super easy. Once you do this, that tells you how many zeros are going to go there. It also tells you how many decimal places you're going to move. You'd never even need a bloody calculator. You're going to have to complete this exercise yourselves. I hope you get it. If not, rewatch the video. If you still don't get it, I guess we'll have to email.